In the previous video, we learned about how our knowledge forms and its relation to stress. In this video, we will consider how our beliefs are formed and what association they have with stress. To understand the relationship between our beliefs and stress, let's take a look at the scenario of you seeing a snake from the previous video. In that example, we concluded that your wrong knowledge led you to be unnecessarily fearful. But if you think about it carefully, it was not just your wrong knowledge that led you to be fearful. You instantly formed the wrong belief or conviction that the object was a snake after acquiring wrong knowledge. Do you think you could have avoided forming a wrong belief about this object being a snake? Or do you think the wrong belief was caused by automatic brain processes, and therefore you had no choice or free will in forming your belief? Let's try to find out. At present, how beliefs are formed is a hot topic in neuroscience, and there has been no conclusive, widely accepted model that satisfactorily explains how beliefs form in the brain. According to Jain philosophy, belief is an intrinsic attribute of the living substance consciousness, and therefore does not originate in the brain. Belief, or shraddha, is defined as a living being's conviction about the nature of something. We form our beliefs about any object or situation using our own free will after accepting right or wrong knowledge. Now, additional factors such as external situations, acquired experiences, presented information, or even brain chemistry may act as instrumental factors in forming beliefs, but they do not dictate the acceptance of the belief that one adopts. For example, if we are wrongly accused of a crime, there is no way for anyone to change our internal belief of being innocent despite someone getting a forced confession from us on paper. We all have an inherent ability to be introspective in forming our beliefs by critically examining the situation or objects that we perceive. Importantly, we possess the capability to revise our previous beliefs in the light of new knowledge or improved understanding of previously acquired knowledge. In the scenario of seeing a snake, had you been cautious and introspective in forming your beliefs, you could have avoided forming a wrong belief about the rope being a snake, and thus could have prevented yourself from being fearful. According to Jain philosophy, we feel stressed because of our wrong beliefs about various things. In fact, it is a combination of wrong beliefs that drives people to be fearful in any situation. In our current scenario, belief about snakes being harmful and a person's own conviction about his inability to handle the situation leads one to be fearful. According to Jain philosophy, one of the most important wrong beliefs that causes stress relates to an individual's true identity. Do we think of ourselves solely as a body made up of matter particles? If yes, then we are bound to be stressed when our body is undergoing sickness or hardship. Situations are not always in our control, and that would leave us with no way of being stress-free. Thinking of ourselves as restricted to this body is the wrong belief, because, as we have discussed earlier, the body does not survive death, however, consciousness survives death. Even during our lifetime, all the cells in our body get replaced as we develop new cells and old cells die. How can we think of this body made up of matter particles as ourselves when those particles form and leave our body every day? Our body is a temporary form that we have acquired surrounding our consciousness, and therefore it is our relative and temporary identity in worldly interactions. However, we should not associate this temporary identity with our permanent selves in our beliefs. In the absence of this right belief, we continue to hold intense attachment toward our body, and thus are fearful of anything that could harm our body. Now the question is, how do we develop right beliefs? Right knowledge is essential for developing right beliefs. We can form right beliefs only if we overcome our ignorance, doubts, and wrong knowledge. Each one of us is capable of forming beliefs based on direct or indirect knowledge. When direct knowledge is not available, we need to rely on indirect knowledge. In the case of forming belief based on indirect knowledge, it is important to ascertain the unbiasedness and depth of knowledge of the source. It is difficult to form right beliefs if we think the person has vested interests or is not fully knowledgeable in the relevant subject matter. In most cases, we initially learn things through indirect knowledge from trusted external sources, and then we try to acquire direct knowledge through observations, thus further reinforcing or refuting our beliefs initially formed on the basis of indirect knowledge. For example, when we were children, we may have been told by our parents to stay away from fire because we would get burned. That's indirect knowledge. However, all of us must have surely believed fire can burn once we had a direct encounter with it by touching it knowingly or unknowingly. That's direct knowledge. In future videos, we will continue to explore various beliefs that cause stress and ways to rectify them. You may be thinking, where does this research about formation of beliefs come from? The great Jain Acharya Umaswamy documented the research on formation of beliefs in his treatise named Tattvartha Sutra in the 2nd century CE, which was originally propagated by Jain Tirthankar Mahavir Swami. In the next video, we will explore the process of forming emotions and how they relate to stress. Having learned about knowledge and belief, do you think that you have the ability to manage your own emotions? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.